I'm sure I'll be remembered as the mayor who brought this nuclear waste to our community.
All of it's very concerning because, like, no one wants to live on the doorstep of a nuclear waste dump.
How confident are you that this will work?
Very confident.
Canada has been using nuclear power since way back in the 1970s. But even today, there's a challenge we haven't been able to solve. What to do with nuclear waste? There are millions of spent nuclear fuel rods in this country, which so far have been kept in temporary containers at reactor sites. Now, here in northern Ontario, 1,600 kilometers from Ottawa, they're working on a permanent place to put them.
This is a site where Canada is going to store its used nuclear fuel.
Kim Bakery is the mayor of the nearby town of Ignace, Ontario. For Kim, nuclear waste is an opportunity.
It is such a tremendous feeling for our community. It's our future.
Peter Keach is a scientist with the Nuclear Waste Management Organization. He shows me the work they've done so far.
So this is one of our boreholes, about the size of a grapefruit in diameter, all the way 1,000 meters deep.
Peter says the boreholes prove that after 20 years of searching, he believes around 800 meters below where we're standing is a perfect spot to store the country's nuclear waste.
This is a Canadian shield rock. It's very strong. Multiple ice ages will occur in the life of the deep geological repository. And this rock is strong enough to endure that.
It's truly amazing to be on top of this rock, and I'm talking solid rock. It just assures me 100% that it's going to be okay.
22 communities were in the running for the repository. Mayor Bakery says Ignace was chosen because of its local geology and that 75% of people in town voted in favor.
When they chose us, it was like the most unbelievable feeling in the world. You know, first ever in Canada. You know, we made history. We made history for Canada. And I know that people from all over the world are going to be visiting this site. I know that. And I know this community is going to welcome every one of them.
Mayor Bakery believes the repository will put Ignace on the map, and it's easy to understand her excitement. The town isn't exactly thriving, having always depended on mining and forestry in its booms and busts. At the Snackle Box, I meet Kimberly Castell Prime.
Once the mines started shutting down, people moved away. There's no job opportunities in Ignace. We've lost our bank, our pharmacy. We're expecting a new pharmacy to come in the fall. We're losing a lot of businesses.
Where do you think the town would go without this?
It's heading towards being a ghost town. So we definitely need some new lifeblood in town.
There are only 1,200 people living here today. That's half of what the population was in the early 1980s. Mayor Bakery knows firsthand how hard it is to make a living here. Her responsibilities as mayor are full-time, but she's not paid that way. She manages this local truck stop to support herself, reading the fuel gauges to see how much gas has been sold.
3, 4, 7, 7, 9, 1.
Mayor Bakery hopes the nuclear repository will mean more opportunities for everyone, especially the next generation.
That's the most important thing for me, is the youth. They're going to be able to stay in their community and not have to leave. In the past, people have done their education and had to leave this community because there hasn't been the jobs for them. Now there will be the jobs for them.
Hundreds of new jobs are expected to be created in town. And the mayor says a new training center, part of a $22 million facility, will help locals get those jobs. The town of Ignace has received, from the Nuclear Waste Management Organization, more than $20 million to date, and there's more money to come. But not everyone in town is convinced. I meet Vern Veronic outside his house. Tell me why you put that sign on your lawn.
Yeah, we don't want to be a dump for the nuclear waste because why should we? We are pristine, we're clean, and this is the way it should stay.
They say that it's 100% safe.
Yep.
Do you believe them?
Well, nothing is 100%. Everything rots and rusts away and falls apart. So I don't really think people should get sucked into the hype of it being permanently safe forever. I don't buy that.
And that is a challenge. Nuclear waste stays radioactive for thousands of years. It's also the problem they're trying to solve at this nuclear waste management facility.
So this is a can-do bundle.
Okay.
This is what comes out of Canada's nuclear reactor fleet, and this is what people mean when they talk about nuclear waste from the reactors.
If this was a real fuel bundle, how dangerous is it?
Oh, it's quite dangerous. We couldn't handle this directly out of a reactor. And this just slides into a container like that.
These containers will be sealed and then buried deep underground. And then Peter shows me what the deep geological repository in Ignace will actually look like.
So we're coming up to our mock emplacement room. This has been made to look like it will look in the underground.
So this room would be underground, deep down.
Deep down, yeah, at repository level. This is where the used nuclear fuel will go. And as you can see, the walls have been made to look like the Canadian Shield that had been drilled and blasted.
So how many rooms like this would there be when the project's done?
Yeah. So there will be many kilometers of tunnels like this, 60 to 80 kilometers of tunnels.
This is how the Nuclear Waste Management Organization says they'll keep the radioactive material safe. But there's something else you should know. How far the waste will have to travel to Ignace. Canada's 3 biggest nuclear reactors are in southern Ontario. The plan is to pack the nuclear waste in specially modified containers and truck it north on the Trans-Canada Highway, more than 1,600 kilometers to Ignace. Once the repository is up and running, 2 to 3 trucks a day for 9 months a year will drive the highway.
Over the nearly 20 years in the fire department, I have been to more motor vehicle collisions on the Trans-Canada than I could count.
Brendan Grant used to be the local fire chief, and he says he doesn't trust the Nuclear Waste Management Organization when they say their specially designed containers can withstand severe impacts and fire.
I have been to motor vehicle collisions on the Trans-Canada Highway where at the end of the call, there's nothing left of the tractor trailer. All that's left is a big crater in the asphalt that's been burned out. And the next day, the paving crew is there fixing that. It's pretty much time to cut the garlic scapes, eh? I think I'll be able to maintain them with the finger weeder from that point on.
Brendan became a farmer in northwestern Ontario because he hoped it would always be safe from pollution. He now believes an accident involving nuclear waste is possible. Brendan also says the town of Ignace shouldn't have the right to say yes to bringing nuclear waste to the region.
You know, I understand why people are eager for the economic opportunity. But at the end of the day, the problem of nuclear waste storage is a Canadian problem. You know, there's 40 million Canadians and there's less than 2,000 people in this community of Ignace. Why should 2,000 people make a decision that affects all Canadians?
And Brendan isn't the only one who feels this way. Chief Michelle Solomon says some of the people who should have been consulted include the First Nations along the trucking route. Solomon is chief of the Fort William First Nation near Thunder Bay.
Fort William First Nation will not stand by for this to be transported through our territory without our consent.
Chief Solomon says her traditional territory borders the highway where the waste will be transported. And she argues that under the Canadian Constitution, her people should have been consulted.
At this moment, Fort William First Nation has not had a say in this, and neither has any other First Nation on the proposed transportation route. And we deserve to have a say. We deserve to have a voice.
How likely do you think it is that your First Nation or another First Nation along the route will take this issue to court?
I think it's highly likely, because if it's not Fort William First Nation, it'll be another First Nation.
There is one First Nation that has been consulted, Wabigoon First Nation, located near here where the repository will be built, has agreed to move forward with the project. Mayor Bagri believes the nuclear repository is for everyone, and she hopes people will understand that.
We need this. We do need this for our community. We need this for Canada, for all nuclear plants. We need this for the future.